Hello and welcome back to the Metamystic Show. Let's take a deep breath. Let's see what's next. 1, 2, and 3. We have the Two of Swords at the bottom of the deck. This is the exact opposite of knowing what's next, of knowing what's to come. It's feeling like you have no idea what's next and having no idea of what's to come. But we have the High Priestess, so somehow I doubt that. We have Pisces, we have Leo twice here with the Sun and the Strength card and the Fool. I don't think it's that you don't know what's next. I think it's that it's just unknown. It's new with the Fool. You haven't done something like this before, and with the World here. And yet again, I will say this, you have done something like this before, because with the World showing up here, this shows me that you've already gone around the sun. You've already gone a couple times. It's almost like you've already lived a full life already in this life. And now you're about to do that all again. There's something new. I mean, look at this. Look at this energy behind you. The same sun that's shining here is shining here with you on your journey. You might just be feeling a little bit like, I don't know what's going on, or I don't know what to expect. I feel like it's more that. And since we don't have the Moon card, the Moon is about you are in darkness on the Moon card. You don't know what's next. But with the Two of Swords, this person has a blindfold on. They can just take off the blindfold and they're standing in the light of day, right? So really, this is all a trick of the mind. I'm hearing a trick of the trade. And I saw like this. You could be a magician. I mean, we do have the High Priestess here, so you could be just a very spiritual person. I'm hearing somebody who sees the end from the beginning. So with the Two of Swords, it's not that you don't know. I'm hearing what I don't know can't hurt me. Yeah. Maybe it's that you're choosing not to look. I'm seeing somebody walking to the edge of the cliff with the blindfold on purpose. Like, you're gonna take the leap. You're gonna go for, and it's not really going, for some of you it could be going for something. Like, it could be a new job, you could be moving. But I feel like this is more esoteric with the High Priestess. This is something more of an inner journey with the Strength card. The Strength card is about, see, she has trained this beast. This is representative of the beast inside of us all. This shows us, having this card here at the High Priestess shows us that you have an incredible sense of self-restraint and the ability to use this beast to your advantage. Like, you could have even harnessed, because in my pre-shuffle I had the devil popping out before I started filming. You could have even harnessed toxic behaviors, addictions, aspects of like your upbringing that caused you to like lean one way. Like maybe you were like too controlling, or maybe you didn't speak up at all. And it's almost as if, and that's just one example of many that I can give on the devil. The devil isn't always like you're snorting a line off the table. It can be, the devil can be this beast, right? The beast that if we tame it, we can send this lion out to do our bidding, essentially, right? And it's a Leo energy, and we have double Leo. But these are two different Leo energies. This Leo energy is about, it's like Leo is a fixed sign, right? And we have the fixed signs here. Here's Leo. Leo, have you ever tried arguing with a Leo? You're just simply not gonna win. Same with any of the fixed signs. And I'm not saying, I got a lot of fixed energy in my chart. I'm a Taurus moon, and I've got 3 Leo placements. But I'm saying it in kind of an endearing way. It's like, especially a high vibrational Leo energy, you don't have to be a Leo for this to apply. We all have Leo in our charts, right? I feel like this is just showing up to demonstrate that you have tamed some sort of beast within yourself. So now you can just send this out like a dog. You can send out your lion to go in front of you and even like sniff the place out. So I feel like the initial, just setting up the storyline here, and then we're going to get to the cards. The initial view was that you didn't know where you were going. But now I'm seeing it as, I'm hearing bits and bobs for some reason. So maybe you're from the UK. I have a few friends from the UK, and they say bits and bobs. But what I'm seeing here is it's like you are purposely closing your eyes. It's like you're closing your eyes to the sun because you've done this before. I keep hearing that song, I ain't never did this before, no. But you have, because we have the World. It's the last card in the major arcana, and then we have the Fool. So it's like you're getting ready to run around the track again, and you know what it takes. You know what it takes. You know what it took for you to do this. For some of you, you're coming out of some sort of karmic contract here with the 4 of Wands and the 6 of Cups, and it could be something literal, like a contract, like maybe you were married, or maybe you had some sort of like work contract or something. But I feel this is more soul-based that we're talking about here today. Interesting. Soul, sun. Yeah, it's like this has to do with you. This is the point. You are standing at the tip of the iceberg. No, I was gonna say the tip. It's like looking at this is the tip of the iceberg. It looks like, this to me, I don't know why, but whenever I see this card, it feels like one of the weakest cards in the deck for me energetically. It's very passive. You're kind of like, I don't know. I'm just kind of caught in the middle. That's how this card feels to me. And yet, look at how they hold the swords. It's like, it's very like purposeful. Like you feel it in the wrists. It's very strong. They are willfully holding a barrier against looking at the truth, right? Which, again, it's this fixed energy that we have coming through here. So there's this element here where you are standing at the precipice of this entirely new thing. It's like, I don't even want to look at the guy. I just want to look at the foot. Because that's what we have going on here. It's like you're right here. Look, that kind of looks like an iceberg. Isn't that funny that I said that? You're somebody who what you see is not what you are. It's the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much beneath that. And it's like you just, with the high priestess, you just let people think what they want to think. You might not be at all what people think you are at the surface, which, you know, that's being a high priestess in my opinion, right? You know, it's like there's so much depth here. There's so many secrets. The high priestess, she doesn't dare tell. And it's kind of a little cheeky mixed with this Leo energy. It's like, I don't kiss and tell. It's kind of like that. But it's kind of like, I don't dare tell what I've seen and what I know. And I'm just going to let you think that I'm kind of passive, kind of don't know what I'm doing, because I'm seeing all these flies buzzing all around. It's because you know that if you reveal the amount of power that you are tapped into with this sun energy, it's like pure raw power and energy. If you allow people to see who and what you really are, then for who this applies to, you may fear that you're going to get trapped again, because you do have a beautiful heart. With the Six of Cups energy, it's like it's looking at the world through child's eyes, through the eyes of hope. See this child here and these children here. It's like you see it. Years ago I watched this documentary, and it was about a group of artists. And one of the main things I took from the documentary, and I can't remember the name now, but it was so good. Basically, the point was that there were these grown people, right? But they were going around creating all of these like amazing different sorts of art pieces and stuff. And they had this childlikeness to them. It's like you never grow up. And you don't have to be like a painter or something. I don't mean artist and you could be somebody who literally works with like different mediums. You could actually be a medium. I look at this as esoteric arts. I look at this as an art form. It's a practice. It's something that has to be worked with, right? Just like with clay, we can work with our spiritual gifts. But anyways, it's like you don't want to show this softer side of yourself, this childlike wonder, the sort of childlike wonder that people harness to create things that will exist long after they die. The Knight of Pentacles is a card of extremely slow movement. It's like a big boulder. It's like this rock that the Fool was standing on. When I said that, I thought of The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dude's ripped. It's like you can't go try to push that guy down. He's just gonna stand there like and just stare at you. Like it's gonna do nothing. Even if you come at the guy with a bat, the bat will probably break on him. It's like that's the energy I'm getting here. And again, that's this fixed energy coming through. Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. We have Leo 3 times, really. And then we have Pisces, which is like, to me, it's like the most mutable. It's the 12th house. It's all the signs. It's all the colors. It's like Pisces is purposely unassuming. And you don't have to be a Pisces for this to apply. It's Piscean energy in the world. Right? Okay. It's like we have all this on the table, and this is how it shows up. It's so unassuming. It's like you're purposely hiding, even to your own self, what the next part of the journey is going to be, because you know what you can get into. You know what could happen because it's happened before. With these like karmic contracts and stuff, or you get into these dynamics with people where then you feel it's like I'm seeing somebody tying a rope to your ankle and you can't move anymore, and you want to be this sort of energy that can move where the spirit takes you. Where the spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, if you want to get religious with it. All right. So I feel like there's just, that you're about to take a big journey again. Like you're about to go around the whole thing again. The whole fool's journey again. From the fool to the world. All the way through. And that's going to take a long time. For some of you, it might take the rest of your life. Because I feel like this might be some sort of like big hitter cycle, like a 20-year cycle. I did a reading about the past 20 years. So if you missed that one, it's on the channel. It talks about a 20-year cycle, and I personally believe, and astrologist friends down below, let us know more information about this if you feel so inclined. But with Pluto and Aquarius, it's going to be going through 2044, if I'm correct. So it's a 20-year cycle, and Pluto is all about transformation and change. And in some aspects, it is like a destroyer, right? It comes through and it destroys what was there so that we can rebuild properly. So I feel like there's all this kind of fear here because the power you're working with and the power that works with you. It's like you're purposely staying unaware until the very last second where you're about to take that leap into this thing all over again. It's almost like you're starting a new life. There's this book by Richard Rohr. He is a friar under the order of Francis of Assisi. And I have a lot of respect for him as a teacher, and he helped me a lot when I was going through my Christian deconstruction, because he wrote a book called The Universal Christ. Very helpful, because he talks about the Christ of the East, the Christ of the West. He speaks more about Christ consciousness. And he makes the joke, I don't know how I haven't been thrown out of the Catholic Church by now for that sort of heresy, right? To claim that there are multiple Christs. But anyways, he's a good resource if you are somebody who, is a Christian and is more spiritual and believes that, the way that a lot of modern Christianity is demonstrated is not necessarily accurate. Let's just keep it short. Then Richard Rohr is a good kind of middle ground, speaking of the Two of Swords, where you can kind of sit on the bench and rest for a while, because he's able to, he has a bigger worldview than just the traditional Roman Catholic belief system. And St. Francis of Assisi was that way as well. A beautiful saint to learn from if you're interested as well. So, all right, let's get into this a little bit. We got the 12th house out here, and I'm a 12th house stellium, so, we can talk religion and spirituality all day, but I just want to keep on topic here. There's something big happening, and I think it's bigger than just, a couple people's lives going into a new phase. I think that this is worldwide. This is astrological, and it's probably Pluto and Aquarius based, right? Could even be talking about something much bigger than that, which is going from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, which is much, much bigger. That's like a behemoth moving the entire paradigm of the future of humanity. That's like spiral dynamics, where it's essentially, spiral dynamics basically goes through the different patterns and cycles that humanity has traversed, you know, from the supposed beginning of time to now, right? So if you're interested in looking at it from a little bit of a different perspective, if the whole Piscean age into the Aquarian age maybe isn't necessarily your cup of tea, or maybe it is, maybe you're somebody who can sit in between two points of view. There's also other modalities that you can look at, things like spiral dynamics that talk more from, do I want to say a logical point of view? I don't know. It's just a little bit a different way to look at it. So anyways, all right, let's get into this. Let me take a sip of coffee. Let's just take a breath. I don't know what's with my hair, guys. I'm growing it. I'm growing it out. I like to make it look like extra weird on purpose, you know? Gives kind of a funny effect. A little bit uneasy. I just like to mess with people. All right. You could be so pretty if you tried. Oh my God. When I was way younger, one of my neighbors who I cared about their opinion, he said to me, he's like, "You're so pretty. If you would just lose weight, you have such a pretty face." Of course, that's like a 13-year-old girl that like breaks your heart. But anyways, let me know down below. Anybody relate? All right. The Five of Cups is just like sitting here. It's like the sad music plays in the background. I'm not going to add any music to this. I got to go lo-fi because I want to put more readings out than I'm able to currently. And if I do all this back-end Virgo editing, we're going to be here forever. So, all right. Card number 1. What an opener. Ace of Swords. The cards are basically like, everything you just opened up with, yeah, that's the message. So, you know, I feel like when we get the Ace of Swords like that, sometimes for me as a reader, that just shows that whatever like channeling that I just did is like on point, that it's not just me like rambling about a bunch of stuff. It all has a place, and it's for, you know, it's for one person over here, it's for another person over here, and then hopefully blanketing the actual message is essentially that we are on the precipice of an entirely new paradigm that isn't necessarily unique to each person, even though each person will have a unique expression of this energy in their own life, right? So this is a big thing, and I feel like some of us are standing on the precipice of this new way of being. And that can feel nerve-wracking because I think for some of us, we have gotten entangled with people that were not good for us. And so we're worried, like, oh, who am I going to meet on the road this time? But I'm not seeing the devil. I'm not seeing any negative cards. I saw the devil in the pre-shuffle. I feel like a lot of us have battled the devil, and we've worked through the things that got us in bed with the devil to begin with, and now we're ready. I'm not saying we've arrived, right? I'm just saying, a lot of us here with the Strength card energy have worked with our shadows, and The World card is representative of that. It's bringing, and so is the High Priestess, the dark and the light, the shadow side. You know, if you want to get psychological with it, Carl Jung talks about all this sort of stuff, right? You know, the subconscious mind and all those things. The light and the dark on the High Priestess card, integrating the shadow self. And then at the end of it all, with the World card, yes, it starts all the way back at the beginning with this High Priestess energy, where it's like you start integrating the shadow side of yourself because you're honest with yourself. And then by the end of it all, you're this integrated being that's become one with yourself. So now we can have a little fun with it. See, I feel like this is actually a very encouraging message. This is a message of, you know, the sun is like the happiest card in the deck. It's fun, it's bright, it is childlike. It's childlike wonder, it's bright colors, it's universal love and truth. And it's, you know, it's breaking down the walls of segregation and our differences, and we find where we can collide right in the middle. And I'm not talking about some sort of like, what is it called, centrist? Is it called centrist point of view? Anyways, but that's not what I'm speaking of here. I'm speaking of like for real, that we're finding ways to become one within ourselves first and foremost, and then that moves outward into the outside world. There's a lot of hope here. There's nothing to be scared about. This is your legacy with the Knight of Pentacles. And it's about how you see the world, right? You build the world that you see. And that's why I feel like part of you are like, I don't want to see right now. I just finished up a big cycle closing down. I'm hearing that sound of that electricity when, you know, somebody turns off a big sign at night. You know, it's like 9 o'clock, closing down the building, and then they shut it off outside, and you hear that kind of like electric sound coming off the sign. I'm seeing that. It's like closed. And so I feel like for some of us, we just want to sit here and rest for a while and mull over what we've just understood. And for some of us, it's literally like the past 20 years. And we've closed a lot of things out. And so we're kind of just sitting here with the truth of that. Just letting that marinate for a little while before we start into this new journey. And this could just be the energy actually as a whole. You know, this could even just be that tapping into, like, this is the energy. It's like we just came through something. So now the energy is taking a time to rest. It's like God created the world. And after God created the world, he rested. You know, according to the Genesis scripture, right? It's like this is a time of rest, and I've never really looked at the Two of Swords as a time of rest, but I feel like it's mental rest, and then that's how the clarity can come in, and just, it's kind of like this is the sword of Excalibur. It's like now you have the sword. Same thing with the Strength card. Now that you have tamed this beast, you can send the beast out to do your bidding. You know, and now that you have this truth, and it's your own inner truth, and no one can tell you no. This is your truth, this is your reality, this is your perspective of the world, as well as of your own shadow and your own identity, right? It's not about what people think about you and how you used to be, and I saw you growing up, and I knew you back in college, and you didn't seem interested in this and that. It's like, I don't care who any of these people are. It's not up to them to stamp upon somebody an identity. So there's a side of us here too that I'm seeing in this Two of Swords and the Ace of Swords card, where this is a new beginning for us, where we're kind of just tuning out anything that is not the truth. It's bigger than just our truth. It's the truth. It's like what we've seen and understood on this journey. Not saying that we should think that we've arrived and that we have all the answers. I mean, some of the most brilliant minds of all time would say things like, basically, the more I learn, the less I know, right? Sort of a concept. So I feel like if we're wise, we will think that way. But still, we know enough to be dangerous, right? So let's see what else we have here. Card number 2 is the Nine of Cups. Yeah, see, this has a really nice energy to it. It's kind of like sitting in the achievement that is you. It's almost like you're standing outside of your body and looking at yourself like you're a statue. And you're kind of just looking over it. Looking over the life that you've created. I've been talking a lot about things like soul review recently. We've had the Seven of Pentacles coming through quite a bit, which to me is kind of like looking over our lives. And for some of us, our life story, because some of you are called to speak about your story, write books, talk about the things that you've been through, the things that you've understood, the things that you've known. And for some, it's in a more creative way. It doesn't have to be literal, like, hello, my name is Missy Gordon, welcome to my TED Talk. It could be through music, it could be through art of some kind, performance, it could be through being a makeup artist, it could be, for some it's reading cards, right? It doesn't have to be one way or the other. It's some sort of expression of your innermost truth. And that brings a sense of satisfaction. See, he's sitting on a bench as well. They're both sitting on benches. But this is much more satisfying than this energy. This is just kind of like a place marker, buying us a little bit of time to process everything that's happened before we dive in again to the next leg of the race, so to speak. How the Apostle Paul talks about how life is like a race, and we're running the race to win. And essentially what he's talking about is morally. Not saying I agree with everything that Paul spoke about. In fact, he openly spoke on things that I don't agree with. So... But I feel like I'm talking to a crowd that understands the nuance of being able to pick pieces of truths and then quilt it together and hold up this worldview that encompasses the reality of, many perspectives, colors, modalities, schools of thought, religions, philosophies. And again, that is a 12th house sort of a thing, right? It's wisdom, and the Ace of Swords is wisdom. So there's a lot of satisfaction in kind of just sitting here and letting yourself be proud of how far you've come and the person that you're going to even become next. Because if you've come this far to where you can lay your head down on the pillow at night and you kind of have this sense of, this is who I am, I'm doing the best I can, I'm not perfect, but I'm working on myself, I'm always evolving in my points of view, my perspectives, I'm always learning more, experiencing more, I'm as authentic as I can possibly be, and in this moment of time, with the light that I know now, this is what I see, and it's the truth. It's sitting in that and being it's kind of like having a moment of I'm proud of myself, which again is a very Leo energy. Again, don't have to be a Leo. It's just it's a sense of pride. Like, I have done this. I have arrived. I have completed something that some people don't ever complete. And it's a spiritual pursuit, and it's something that can't be seen except when there's that moment of vulnerability and authenticity where that light shines through the cracks and people can see how hard it has been for you, and they can find a sense of humanity within that. Let's see what else we have here. Kind of just feels like we're sitting and processing and being grateful with the Nine of Cups, and kind of just looking over, you know, the cups can be like scrying, like looking into the water, especially with the High Priestess. Yeah, like the oracles in the temple, and kind of just looking into all of those 9 cups, each and every one, and just taking in the places you've been inside of yourself. You don't have to tell anybody about this, but I feel like some of you will with the Ace of Swords, and again, that can be expressed in many different ways. All right, let's just take a breath here. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Nothing feels better than just sitting in that raw sense of truth. Like, this, I don't have any secrets I'm saying, like, in myself. It's like, I admit to myself, you know, these are my flaws. This is who I am. This is what I've been through. And it's like you're completely just open before God, whoever God is to you. And it's like you let that light shine down and see into all the corners, because you have, or you're working on, integrating your shadow. And in order to integrate the shadow, we need to look at the shadow. And the shadow doesn't always mean, oh, there's all this devilish stuff down here. The shadow could be secret talents that you didn't even know you had. And you start tinkering with something because you're integrating your shadow, and you're like, oh my God, I'm like a very talented, like, wood whittler. That came through recently. I don't know what that's about. Maybe somebody here works like with wood. Because I'm seeing like beautiful wooden rocking chairs, and I have one. I have an Amish made wooden rocking chair that I got in New Hampshire, in the mountains by Lake Winnipesaukee, and it was like this Amish made, and those are the best. They're the best of the best. I've had it for, I don't know, why do I want to say 15 years? I actually had a light wood colored one. I'm saying this for a reason, because this is an analogy for the longevity of something. I actually had this light wood. It was like almost birch. And something happened with the mechanics in the back of it. Took it back there, and they gave me an entirely new chair, like, for free. And this time I got this dark kind of mahogany. Let me show you. I'll show you the color. Looks like this. Yeah, some of you might even be musicians here. can't play with my nails. I'm no Dolly Parton. There's a video of her playing with long acrylic nails. But yeah, there's also something about like, you know how people say, like, you aged like a fine wine. There's something here about this work that you're doing. It's going to last a lifetime. This next step is the next phase of your life. Oh, and back to Richard Rohr. He has a book called Falling Upwards, where basically the concept of the book is that he's teaching that every person, he says this, if I'm doing my job right, if we are as teachers and as leaders teaching people this concept, then this is what will happen. He talks about how what falling upwards means essentially is that we will have two lives. He says the first half of our life we build the container. And then the second half of our lives is when we really live, essentially, right? It's like we come into our own. And so he talks about how there should be a phase of being born again, essentially. You know, that's what Jesus taught, and we've taken it grossly out of context, what that actually meant. Being born again is not saying, Jesus, I ask you into my heart. I ask you into my heart. Forgive me of my sins. Forgive me of my sins. Amen. Amen. Because that's the prayer that I prayed when I was like 5 years old at a Baptist VBS Bible camp in the summertime, even though I was already a Christian. I remember I felt bad and I didn't want to tell the lady that I had already been a Christian for many years. So I just prayed the prayer along with her. You know, words mean nothing until they mean something. Because if you want your words to mean something, then they're backed with actual life experience and truth and wisdom. You know, if you're just saying, Jesus, come into my heart, and then you're a criminal, right? Then, you know, you can pray the rosary as many times as you want. You can ask Jesus to forgive you as many times as you want. Good. At least we're acknowledging the shadow. But at the same time, when that light comes and shines on us, are we brave enough to claim that, yeah, that's a part of me over there, and that's a part of me over there, and yeah, I went through that, and you know, that was really challenging, and I didn't know what to do, and I wish I had handled it differently. We all make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not about beating ourselves up, but it's also not about letting ourselves completely off the hook to where we're just like, well, praise the Lord, I'm free. And I'm just speaking from this Christian paradigm because that's how I was raised, you know, throughout my entire life, where it was basically like, you know, my youth groups basically consisted of people having like accountability buddies because they're, you know, like especially the men, they would like join up, they'd link up and be like, oh yeah, like my girlfriend gave me a hand job, I'm so sorry, Lord, for like doing that. It's basically, you know what I mean? So yeah. What does that have to do with like ultimate truth at the end of the day? It's like, what are we teaching people? So anyways, Falling Upward, great resource if you're interested. All right, let's get into card number 3. And I'll close on this. I knew this card was going to be here, the Justice card. The reason why is because this, to me, is higher truth, the Ace of Swords. The Justice is holding the Ace of Swords. In conclusion, what I believe this is showing is this is your truth, Ace of Swords. It's also representative of the ultimate truth, the higher truth. It's a complex, one world. Metatron is great with this. This is Metatron's cube, and I'm sorry for the glare right here, but if you look closely, you can see there. That's a good view. See how complex this is and how they all connect somehow. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See the circles? And then everything connects from there. Kind of looks like a, like we do with crystal grids, right? When I do a crystal grid, I usually use Metatron's cube. But see, look, it's like every way you look how complex that is. You see that? I learned from Christina Lopes to just like meditate on Metatron's cube, and it really started to open up my third eye more because it's so complex. And you just see, if you look at it from that angle, it looks like it's all, it looks more, kind of in the box. We can kind of figure it out, and then boom, you look that way, and it's like, oh my God, oh God. Yeah, it's like right there, it looks nice and put together, and then boom, Pandora's box. Oh my God, what is all that? So yeah, this is higher truth, and we're moving into this. It's a higher paradigm. I would say it's the age of Aquarius. It's understanding the individual as well as the group. Which I know this is Libra, but in this context, in the context of truth. Yeah. So I'm going to end on that because I feel we encompassed this justice energy in the conversation. It's truth. What is that Henry David Thoreau quote? It's one of my favorite quotes. I don't want money. I don't want fame. Give me truth. Something like that. Give me truth. And the pursuit of truth starts with us. It starts with integrating the shadow and letting that light shine into the dark corners of our reality and facing that with bravery. And then from that place, it shines outwards into the world instead of the other way around. These are the things that I've been taught to believe, so I'm going to speak about those without doing the inner work first. But I believe that I'm talking to a group that understands what that means. High priests and high priestesses, and however you identify. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. And remember, you can always listen to the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you want to book a personal or donate to support the show, info is down below. Until next time, it's been Missy Gordon, the Metamystic here, and I will see you on the next one. Whoa.